The tropical development chance just east of Florida and north of the Bahamas continues to increase. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo. We're your home for Caribbean weather, and it's great to see you for the latest video. I hope you're doing well. Coming up in this video, this area just east of Florida and north of the Bahamas looking more impressive for today. Signs are growing that we're going to get a tropical system out of that as it moves off towards the west and into the Gulf. I'll have the latest on that. In the Caribbean, we have Saharan air, we have tropical waves moving through. There's been gusty winds and heavy rainfall. There's been some drier air and some heat to build with as well. Let's get into it. Meteo Mundo, sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorney. It's storm season. A storm moves into your area and it causes damage. They can walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. As always, I want to hear from the Meteo Mundo weather community. What's been happening in your area, what the weather has been like. Appreciate you guys joining in on the chat. Surface analysis, again, we do have a center of circulation now east of Florida, north of the Bahamas, Grand Bahama, Walker's Key, places like that. We'll touch much more on that coming up in just a second. We do have a little bit of tropical moisture and some Saharan air being mixed in together through the Caribbean right now. And if you're seeing some drier conditions in the Caribbean today, you look off into the Atlantic Basin and 2 additional tropical waves will be moving through for the week to come. We are going to start off, though, what's been happening now with our potential development area, which is now up to a 30% chance. But I got to tell you something, it's looking fairly impressive on this Monday. Hurricane hunters are already scheduled to go out and have a reconnaissance flight tomorrow, but you never know. They might forward speed that up a little bit here and do it a little bit earlier based on what we've been watching. Now, first of all, again, I'm going to take off this yellow area because that's the development zone and it's just kind of covering everything else up right now. So let me drop that. Again, a 30% chance. This is the infrared satellite imagery. We do have a closed center of circulation right now. It's a very weak 1,014 millibar low, but we do have a low level center. Now, all the convection is south or west of that, and it has been going gangbusters today through Florida, especially in southern Florida, back down towards the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. This is the infrared satellite imagery. Look at the heavy thunderstorms also getting into the northern Bahamas. Places like Walker's Key, Freeport, Lucaya, Grand Bahama, Bimini, the Abacos, Andros, Nassau, New Providence, even portions of Eleuthera. Good thunderstorm activity there. As a matter of fact, let me bring on the live radar out of Miami. And again, when I bring on this live radar, you can clearly see the spin. This is a developing, deepening area of low pressure, which is why when I bring back on the tropical area, yesterday it was just an X with a line through Florida and into the Gulf. That meant that the Hurricane Center wasn't expecting this to develop east of Florida near the Bahamas, but rather potentially by Wednesday as it got into the eastern Gulf. Now they've completely filled this in. So there is an opportunity that we can actually get a tropical depression before this moves on shore into Florida tomorrow. It's still a low chance, but it's not a zero chance. And there is freshening winds, very heavy flooding kinds of rains coming into portions of Florida, and the opportunity for some water spouts and, scenarios like that come into play with this developing system. Now, dropping back off this tropical area because it's just a little bit easier to see everything, at the hour. Look at the heavy storms over Walker's Key, Freeport, High Rock, West End, back towards Bimini. This will all spiral back down towards Andros and New Providence, maybe towards Eleuthera as well. Really heavy storms southeast Florida today. West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, even back down towards the Keys. Again, areas that could potentially see some localized flooding, especially on Tuesday. When I bring on the visible satellite imagery and the radar, you can clearly see that spin. Again, we're fighting some drier air to the north right now, but this is looking more and more impressive at the hour. And again, a lot of heavy rainfall and gusty winds. Not going to become something strong, at least as of now. But potentially as it moves across Florida and into the eastern Gulf, that's when we could really start to see this develop and wrap up as it moves into the north central Gulf. I'm going to put a pin in this right now, but I'm going to have a lot more about what the models are looking at with all of this for the week ahead coming up in just a minute. Let's get back into the rest of the forecast across our area. So I'm going to switch back over to our satellite imagery here and bring back on the wind gusts. And again, northern Bahamas from time to time, absolutely could see some extremely gusty gusty, downpours with this. An isolated water spot, a little bit of localized flash flooding, and this will continue to stay in the northern northwest Bahamas through tomorrow. We're going to get scattered rain in the central Bahamas out of this, maybe as far south as Exuma and Long Island and Cat Island, and a little bit of moisture right now developing over the southeast Bahamas, the Acklins, and portions of Turks and Caicos. As you guys know, we have live cameras here at Meteo Mundo. This is the live look to central Eleuthera. This is kind of on the extreme southeast skirting of where that deeper moisture is feeding into that area of low pressure north of the Bahamas. So we've had a few passing showers and an isolated thunderstorm today in Governor's Harbor. Right now, it's looking pretty tranquil outside, but you can kind of see some of the Dexter clouds that have rolled across the area. Again, these are areas that will continue to be impacted from time to time. Numerous thunderstorms have developed today in portions of the western sides of Cuba, from Havana on over towards Cienfuegos. We've been relatively quiet today for my friends in the Cayman Islands. Again, fairly beautiful day. Haze is a story. The heat is a story as well. Same situation across Jamaica. I mentioned it in yesterday's video. If we were going to get thunderstorms, it would more than likely be on the southern sides of the island. Now, unfortunately, I lose some of the lightning data here, but you get the idea. Portions of St. Elizabeth and Manchester, coastal areas of Clareton and St. Catherine and Kingston, St. Andrew, maybe even St. Thomas parishes could get an isolated shower storm. Right now, we're seeing this from the Black River area towards Mandeville, west of Maypen. We've had a couple of developing showers here over the western sides of the Kingston area. Portmore, Spanish Town, for the most part. If my friends in Jamaica have caught some of these showers, let me know in the comments section below. When it hasn't been raining, it has been hot, it's been humid. So 88 in Montego Bay, but a feels like temperature of 102 degrees Fahrenheit. That's another story. One of our commenters yesterday out of Jamaica said there were even some wildfires or some brush fires. Let me know if those are still ongoing. Hopefully that has been tempered here, and hopefully the wind hasn't been as strong for today. You can see the tropical moisture here on this enhanced satellite imagery streaming across the Dominican Republic and Haiti, clearly coming off of the northern sides of South America. So places like Port-au-Prince and Lacay, good wind over Santiago de los Caballeros for today. Passing showers, Santo Domingo, the Samana Peninsula, on over towards Punta Cana. It is fighting some Saharan air, but you guys, isn't this beautiful? Look at the low-level winds out of the southeast, and these are your mid-level winds out of the southwest. And when these converge, you do get enough lift in the atmosphere to provide a couple of showers. Trying to see that over portions of Puerto Rico in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands for today. Again, we've been fighting some haze. It's beginning to dissipate some, and rain chances should begin to improve again in the short term, at least through Thursday, when the next Saharan air layer will be working its way in. It's been a breezy day. Ponce, San Juan, Vieques, Fajardo, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, winds of 25 to 30 miles an hour, trying to freshen up a little bit in the way of some showers at the hour as well. We've had a few passing showers here. Let me do something real quick here, guys. I'm just going to reset this shot. Here we go. We had some high resolution data on there that was cutting off everything else. I'm going to switch it back to this. Again, what this product is, by the way, it's a fantastic product. It's a sandwich product of the infrared satellite imagery and the visible satellite imagery on a map together, so you get a good idea. Now, I do have wind gusts on, I believe. I'll bring the temperatures on to show you. By the way, temperatures today in Fahrenheit, upper 80s, lower 90s, 29 to 31, 32 degrees Celsius. All right, here are our winds. I knew we had a wind gust earlier today in the St. Martin area, which was right around 30 miles an hour. Same thing for St. Bart's, same as St. Eustatius as well, Guadalupe. And again, passing showers, shallow moisture, a bit of haze, but you can clearly see the brisk easterly winds out there. Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados as well. We got a live camera in St. Lucia. It's moving as we speak. So we're zooming to look a little bit farther to the south. Live look outside to Corinth, St. Lucia right now. And again, We've been able to dissipate the haze. It's actually been a beautiful Monday here in the St. Lucia area. Just a few passing clouds. Hopefully my friends in St. Lucia enjoying it. Hopefully it hasn't been too dry for you guys. Started to try and get a couple of showers developing in the southern sides of Trinidad, but at this point in time, we're dry there. Same situation for Nueva Esparta, and we've been high and dry in the ABC Islands as well. A couple of showers have been, in a localized fashion across Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. We've seen a healthy mix of thunderstorms and some very heavy rainfall through portions of Costa Rica and the southern sides of Nicaragua, developing, trying to get into the southern sides of Honduras as well, but they're slow to develop. Brisk conditions over La Ceiba and the northern sides of Honduras, passing cloud coverage, but not a lot of rain for today for my friends here. Again, I go back over here to this broad perspective just to show you guys again, we've had fast moving cloud coverage, but not a lot in the way of rain. When I show you the water vapor imagery out of this area real quickly, you're going to see that that red is entrenched. We've had more haze than anything else in these spots, as that Saharan air layer has encompassed the Western Caribbean. Let's go back over to Oranjestad, Aruba. Live look outside again. Hardly a cloud in the sky, a touch of haze, bit of a breeze, but a beautiful afternoon there in Oranjestad as we take a live look there from Aruba. Let's get into the forecast, friends, as we do so. Thanks for taking a quick second and liking this video, subscribing to Meteo Mundo if you haven't as of yet. You want the latest updates across the Caribbean, the Bahamas, and anywhere that could be impacted tropically, I got you covered. Appreciate those who are supporters of the channel via the super thanks or our memberships. 2 tiers are available, our supporter tier, custom badges and emojis during our live streams. I shout you guys out. It's just 99 cents a month. It's a small way, but I really appreciate those who are supporters of the channel. You want to kick it up a notch, we have our new tier. It's called Team MM. You get access to exclusive member shorts. In between these video updates, I grab my phone, kind of give you guys my behind the scene thoughts, maybe elaborate into what I'm thinking what could be happening tropically. Let's get into the Saharan dust. Now, again, one layer is moving across the Western Caribbean right now. That's what you see on your screen. Second thick concentration will be arriving in the Eastern Caribbean on Thursday, and that will be spreading across the Caribbean, although dispersing as it does so through the rest of the week and into the weekend. So again, there's the thicker dust coming in for the weekend ahead. Right now, when we flip this back, the highest concentration, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Central America, the Yucatan. That's why we've dried out there. And again, another plume coming in. So for places like the Lesser Antilles, we're going to have a better rain chance the next couple of days and then begin to dry out again starting on Thursday. Now, this is very interesting, okay? As I'm recording this video, we have turned this into an invest, and this is not surprising, okay? I was almost waiting for the Hurricane Center to put out some kind of statement about this. So you guys are seeing this live as I'm recording this. We now have Invest 93L, all right? And everything that I said earlier in this video supports the fact that we have an invest. We have a closed center of circulation. It's a weak 1,014 millibars, but this convection is blowing up very healthy right now. And it is moving off towards the west and southwest very slowly, 3 miles an hour. But all signs point to, even before it gets to the east coast of Florida, that this could wrap up into a tropical depression. Regardless, very heavy rainfall, flooding rains for portions of Florida, especially central and southern Florida, and the northern Bahamas. While we're here, we're going to now deep dive into how this is going to play out. So I'm going to break out our HER model. This is the high resolution rapid refresh. First of all, this is not a fantastic tropical model. So you might say, okay, well, Rusty, why would you show me this? Well, with a developing system like this, we can still look at the reflectivity in the rain that this is going to bring in a localized fashion. So I would never, with a developed system, show you the HER and say, let's look at how this intensifies in the track. But when we're looking at more localized showers and storms off a developing system, this still holds some weight, and it updates hourly, so we get kind of the newest information. So again, for the northwest and northern Bahamas, look at all of the moisture. As the low tracks off towards the west, winds will turn more south and southeast, still feeding in some rich moisture. Now there is that Saharan air layer south. So in a different scenario, we could have even more widespread heavier rain, but south of the central and southeast Bahamas, we're actually pulling in a little bit drier air. But it's still going to be very widespread for New Providence and Eleuthera and Andros and Abacos and Grand Bahama and Bimini and Walker's Key for the next couple of days. That spin is very clear to see moving right across the central sides of Florida, where 4 to 6 inches of rain will locally fall between now and Tuesday night. Localized flash flooding is a possibility. There could be some strong to severe storms. Winds are the main threats. Look, when you have a rotating system like this, the tornado threat is never non-zero, right? Or it's always non-zero. It's never zero. Could be low end, but water spouts are a possibility, and weak, brief tornadoes could come along for the ride. Now, all the models make this even stronger in the Eastern Gulf. And you can see they're beginning to be a wrap up a bit in the HRRR model. We'll pick up the other models from there coming up. But I wanted to just show you in a high resolution model in real time how that could be developing. So we'll switch over here and we'll pick this up. Now, if this is going to develop, okay, it's either going to happen before it moves along the east coast of Florida or into the Eastern Gulf, right? And I'm going to show you, we'll look at the European model, we'll look at the ICON model coming up with this. The question is going to be, how much time is it going to have over water to develop? But remember, Tropical Storm Chantal was not that far off the Carolina coastline and still became a tropical storm with winds of up to 60 miles an hour. Regardless, this is going to bring excessive rainfall to portions of the southeast, but the models are trending higher in this not only becoming, a weak tropical storm, but potentially an even stronger tropical storm. And by the way, Dexter is the next name on the list. Yes, we've already rolled through 3 storms already. So that's what it looks like on the NAM. I'm going to switch over to the GFS, and we'll take a look at a couple of the products here on the GFS as well. And then I'll show you the European model and the ICON model. So I've got you covered with all the different kind of varieties, if you will, of how this could play out. So this is the latest GFS. Again, not as high resolution of a model, but still showing a broad circulation in the north central Gulf, right? Does this fully wrap up on the GFS? Some, but again, I think that it's underperforming what we're already seeing there east of Florida with that area of low pressure in that invest. When I show you guys the surface-based winds off of the GFS model, I'm going to take this out one more day, take this out to the 18th. So today is the 14th, so this would take us out until Friday. I think if we're going to get development, it's going to happen. It could even happen as early as tomorrow, but as far as really getting stronger, it's going to be your Wednesday, Thursday timeframe if it does so. Certainly the western coastal panhandle, Florida, coastal Alabama, Mississippi, all of Louisiana need to stay weather aware with this, to see how this evolves. On the GFS, we don't really have a lot here, right? This is the weakest, actually, of this. Now, this is the deterministic model of the GFS. Some of the ensemble members are a little bit stronger. But let me show you the European model. This is the ensemble members here. It doesn't have it developing east of Florida, but it does have it developing as it gets towards Louisiana and become a stronger system there, okay? And the members of the ensemble of the European are fairly clustered into coastal Louisiana, kind of in that Thursday, maybe early Friday timeframe, all right? This is the ICON model, all right? And you can see that closed center, 1014, kind of goes away. You would expect it to weaken a little bit over land, over Florida, and then really freshens up. This would be one of those stronger tropical storms. Now, same scenario though as the European model, takes it into coastal Louisiana as we get into late Thursday or early on Friday. And this is one of the stronger ones. Now that we have an invest, the other tropical models like the HWRF and the HMON will begin to run on this as well. So we're going to have even more model information. And of course, that's why the hurricane hunters go out to these storms and investigate and use the drop zones and all their data, because that gets fed directly into these tropical models. So heavy rain and storms the next couple of days in Florida, and then we'll have to look for potential tropical impacts to the northern Gulf Coast as we get towards mid and late week, potentially as early as Wednesday, but more than likely Thursday and Friday. So that's the scenario with what is now Invest 93L, right? One more look at that again, right there. And you can already see the thunderstorms moving through. Let's talk about the rest of the forecast for the Caribbean and the Bahamas. I'm going to switch on over back to the GFS model here. It's going to take 1 second. Bring up our reflectivity. And we're going to go over just the next couple of days. Now, We already looked at that Saharan air layer and how that's going to impact drier air coming back into the eastern Caribbean. Right now, the Saharan air layer is impacting areas to the west. So we've seen the rain chance come down for Cancun and Cozumel and Merida and Campeche and Belize City and Guanaja and Roatan, places like that. You'll see scattered showers and a few thunderstorms begin to emerge in the forecast again tomorrow, and slightly better rain chances as we get into Wednesday. We still have our monsoon trough at our persistent low in Colombia, so rain chances will continue to be higher, especially down towards Costa Rica and Panama. For my friends in Jamaica, again, it's isolated to scattered, mainly in the afternoon hours and mainly in southern parishes through Wednesday. Moisture quality should improve a bit Thursday and Friday ahead of that next Saharan air layer, so I am expecting rain chances to go back up there. Cuba will be influenced by this area of low pressure and should see pretty decent rain chances being fed into this, especially on the western side of the island. Cienfuegos off towards the west. We've already talked about the Bahamas, numerous showers and storms and heavy rainfall for the northwest Bahamas, scattered rain in the central and southeast Bahamas, a few showers for Turks and Caicos. We'll again see rain chances begin to improve over Port-au-Prince and Santo Domingo and Punta Cana there, the Dominican Republic. Brisk easterlies will be in store with the fast-moving showers for Virgin Gorda and Anegada, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John. So 40, 50, 60% chance for rain the next couple of days until late Thursday and on Friday when the next Saharan air layer begins to move in. So improving rain chances, but again, shallow moisture, which means there's not going to be a lot in the way of heavy, widespread rain, but just a better opportunity to catch some showers here in places like Antigua and Barbuda, and Anguilla and St. Martin, and St. Bart's, and St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat in the next couple of days. You can clearly see that on the model, the freshening of the moisture, a little better lift in the atmosphere. We don't have to fight the Saharan air layer anymore. By the way, you know, again, as these waves come through, from time to time, you might get a couple of advisories, right? You might get a rainfall advisory. You might get some kind of marine advisory as well. We could see 2 to 3 meter wave heights in portions of the Lesser Antilles. It's not going to be very common, but it's not out of the question. Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados will be included in experiencing a bit of this tropical wave activity with, you know, at least scattered, if not numerous, from time to time passing showers. Same thing for our friends and the Grenadines, Grenada, TNT. Nice moisture available here. This one has a little bit healthier moisture content with it, so improving rain chances before the next Saharan air layer moves in. My friends in the ABC Islands, kind of scattered at best. Not expecting there to be anything more than about a 20% chance of rain in most spots. But overall, this is what the rainfall totals look like over the next 5 days. Again, I'm just going to take off that 50% area here. So now when we're looking at these global models and heavier rainfall with tropical systems, sometimes they don't do a very good job picking up on the very localized flooding that occurs. But what I'm expecting here in these areas is going to be 2 to 4 inches of rain from Andros and New Providence north, 2 to 4 inches possible, potentially locally higher. Southern and central Florida will be even higher than that. It's just going to be more widespread, 2 to 4, but you get up to 6 inches of rain in a couple of other spots and maybe even higher than that. Some flash flooding and excessive rain is likely for the central and the southern sides of Florida and portions of the northern Bahamas through at least Tuesday night. There's the heavier rainfall again in portions of Cuba. We're going to get the scattered showers in Jamaica, which could lead to maybe an inch of rain, 25 millimeters there. Again, drier, certainly in the Yucatan and most of the northern sides of Central America till you get back down towards Panama and Costa Rica, where again, 2 to 4 inches of rain or 50 to 100 millimeters is in the forecast. This next tropical wave should provide the opportunity to pick up more than an inch in a couple of spots here across portions of the Windward Islands, St. Vincent included in that. Passing showers, Dominica and Guadeloupe again, maybe 25 to 50 millimeters at most, but most areas of the Lesser Antilles below that. A little bit more moisture quality here towards Fajardo and Vieques. So a couple of heavier downpours here than portions of Puerto Rico, including the Aguadilla area, could end up producing a few inches of rain and localized flooding to go along with that as well. This is what it looks like on the European rainfall totals for you guys. And again, very impressive in these spots, spreading off towards the west into the Gulf. Drier for the northern sides of the Yucatan and into Central America. Still a heavier rain, a little bit farther south in latitude, with more scattered rain for most of the greater Antilles. Here's the wave heights. So again, keep an eye out for those freshening winds moving into the eastern Caribbean, really building wave heights again, central and the western sides of the Caribbean, and even up north of Hispaniola, including Turks and Caicos. Places like Grand Turk could see a freshening of their waves as well. If you live in the Bahamas, in the offshore waters east of the Bahamas of the Atlantic, we're going to have some long period swells building in as well. Friends, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for making Meteo Mundo a part of your daily routine. You can follow us across all of our social media platforms. It's Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. You want to send me a picture or video? mymeteomundo@gmail.com. As always, you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. While you're down there, please make sure you like and subscribe. And please remember that Meteo Mundo is sponsored by the lean law firm of Central Florida. They cover the entire state of Florida. It is storm season. A storm moves into your area. You get damage of any kind, hail, wind, hurricane. They'll walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Friends, I'll have the latest information on that invest and the rest of the forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas for you tomorrow, right here at Meteo Mundo.